Hi everybody, I'm Will from PowTechnology. It's our fourth time presenting at CHEMUK. So I'm going to give you two use cases today on real industrial IoT. How do we create a roadmap to solutions and problems? How do we make pilots go away and turn into real projects? We've got to start with some pre-thinking here. We start with the barriers up the front. This comes from the Make UK report from last year, UK manufacturing. So, four main barriers that we cite from manufacturers, why they don't progress technology projects from pilots to reality. First one's the technical skills gap. They don't have the technical skills necessary to deploy on site. There's also integration and data issues. It's wonderful to be able to collect data, but where do you need it? Who's going to use it? How are you going to alarm on it? How are you going to action it and turn it into a process? High implementation costs. I'm sure we've all thought about a technology project, an IoT project, maybe something in the home where the costs have spiraled. Subscription costs start to get out of control. Licensing. You've got a trial license for 30 days. After that, it's £1 million from a large vendor. And also cultural resistance in the workplace. People are terrified that technology is going to take their jobs. So we have to really consider these barriers up the front of our projects and how we're going to combat them and how we're going to work through them. So take a look at the Make UK report. Really, really interesting if you're interested in deploying technology projects. We then start with some really simple questions. Do you have all the data that you need to make decisions? I've asked this every year at CHEMUK so far. Audience, if you're listening to me, you're going to have to put your hands up or down in a minute. If you run a business, if you own a process plant, if you work in process industries with your customers, does anyone here have enough data to make their business decisions? Put your hand up if you've got enough data in your manufacturing process. One person, wonderful. One person has enough data out of everybody else. Year 4, you're the first person to put their hand up. Very few people have the data needed in 2026 to make business decisions in their chemical plants. The next thing is to quantify the business value. As engineers these days, and I'm an engineer, we have to be storytellers. We have to work out how to sell our technology solutions to the finance team, because that's who's going to pay the bill. We have to be able to justify what we're going to save in terms of cost, hours, lost product, CO2, huge value behind these things. And we have to know in detail that we're not just doing engineering for engineering's sake. And have we got the skills on site? Who's going to help us when we really need to get this data from here to here? What happens when we come across an IT issue? How are we going to have the skills and the capability and the partnerships to do it? So we've got to ask ourselves these kind of questions at the front of an IoT project. Quite a slow start for a technology solution here, talking about people factors. But real IoT doesn't happen without people. It's not about technology, okay? I love technology, by the way. I'll talk about it till the cows come home. We're going to talk about people and reasons to do it today a lot. So we identify some reasons. We lower costs, we improve reliability, we enhance logistics, we enable compliance with people. These are the most common reasons that we see in an IoT project. And some of them are interrelated. We might lower our business costs, reducing the CO2 of a number of tankers that go out and deliver product to customers. That might also enable our CO2 compliance. So these multi-solutions can solve different problems. But the thing that I'm going to tell you, and you're going to see it in both of these use cases, is the secret recipe that we have used time and again to solve this. So here it is. We get a sensor, we combine it with a gateway, we get it to a platform, we do some analytics, we do some alerting, and then we integrate it with business systems. This works. In 2026, we can deploy an IoT solution anywhere in the world, in almost any infrastructure, using this solution. It might be remotely dispersed assets. It might be deep in a factory automation system. This is the recipe that works. Right, let's think about the people and think about all those things, but we start with the problem. So, our customer, they're a large supplier of glue and they sell glue to their customers. Thousands and thousands of industrial users. You've opened a pack of cornflakes or drink a Capri Sun, there's a blob of glue on it. That comes from these types of machines. The problem is they want to measure and optimize the glue consumption for their customers. They want to provide a better service. They don't want to sell glue as a commodity-based product. They want to provide a service to their customer. But it's hard. These are fast-moving machines, right? High temperatures, the glue's got to be melted, and the machines are quite complex. We're squirting glue onto thousands of boxes. What we're trying to do is reduce the pop opens. You see that in the bottom right-hand corner. So why do it? Well, for the supplier, I can get a competitive advantage. I can get away from that cheap glue by providing a much differentiated product. It's not all about price. I can improve productivity and quality at my customer. I can actually reduce their glue consumption but provide them an amazing service. Loyalty. If someone works well with you, do you ever leave them? If they really support you through the tough times, you're going to work with them for a long time. When I'm an industrial glue user and not a social glue user, I've got to work through quality problems. So there's two aspects here to glue optimization. I don't want to use too much glue, and I don't want to use too little glue. I want to use the right amount of glue. And I want to reduce my risk. I want to know how much glue I'm using consistently. So you'll see we're starting off with a reasons-led approach. That's the key to these IoT projects. Maintenance. If I'm monitoring the amount of glue I'm using, the amount of packs that I'm producing, and I'm getting that data, I can use that for diagnostics. This project eventually, and I'll not bore you with too much detail, I'm happy to talk at length. We started off with glue consumption. We ended up at line efficiency between shifts and everything in between. So there's a lot of great use cases to industrial data. So how did we do it? Guess what? We got a sensor. We retrofitted it to the packing line and the adhesive machine. You need product expertise to do that. It's a high temperature. It's a thick product, you can imagine, and the machine's moving fast. That's quite a complex industrial measurement. We get an edge device, and in this example, we're interfacing with the customer's Wi-Fi infrastructure. It's in many different production plants of all different types, so we want to get that data flowing. You see it there, that red box in the right-hand corner. We've then got an IoT platform. What is an IoT platform? It's a web interface that allows us to get data from our device, understand it, and make it simple. It's contextualized for the customer. So what we're providing in the end is alerting and alarming to the customer when they're under or overusing glue. So we optimize the glue consumption on the site. And we make it really simple. Remember, sensor, gateway, platform, insights and alerts. We bespoke it. We make it unique. This is branded for that particular customer. It's Henkel, by the way, if you can't see. We provide usage reports. We provide a platform. We provide contextual alerts. Make it relevant to the people. We're going to come back to those barriers in a minute. Make it relevant. So, the results. Stronger brands, better understanding of customers. If I know how much my customer's consuming consistently, I can optimize my supply chain and my deliveries, and I can manage it around. The big thing we found at the end customer was we increased the inspect rate to 95%. So the products came far more into line. Pop-ups reduced massively. 3.5 weeks, project paid off. Oh, and here's the output. So got a proven use case, documented supplier. Everybody won in this scenario. The supplier, the user, and us. So we talked about the solution. Let's go back to the barriers because there was a few here. Technical skills gap. You need a partner that can be versatile across all of these different spaces. You need to be able to connect OT and IT, operational technology and information technology. We operational technologists, we love to talk about PLCs. We don't love to talk about Windows machines, but we need to be able to bridge that gap. We need to be able to customize and create contextual dashboards for people. We need a solution that starts small and scales quickly. It makes a standardized kit. We actually developed a retrofit kit for this machine to be able to install it in 30 minutes. We don't want a complex IoT machine that's going to take it down for 3 days. It just doesn't justify the project. So we have to think about how we combat that high implementation costs. We need to make it easy for people. We need remote comms. If you've done a technology deployment before and you had a problem, who did you speak to? You probably Googled it. Could you pick up the phone? Could you talk to somebody easy? Could you get the analytics that you wanted? Maybe it wasn't quite set up right. How are you going to provide that kind of interface? So, successful technology project. Defeat the barriers, get the reasons right. Right, next one. 2 real use cases here. So, probably 500 plus devices on the last one globally deployed. This one's a bit bigger. Let's start with the problem again. I am a chemical distributor and I distribute chemicals to thousands of different sites. We call this dumb tanks, but basically this is a graph of the tank level on the bottom and the number of deliveries that we did annually to achieve, to redeliver. So there's a few things here. Our customers are running out of products 7% of the time. Running out of products. So they can't run their process, they can't run their facility. We're delivering to tanks that are over half full. So we need to optimize and work through that. So why? We're going to optimize our supply chain. We're going to reduce our transport overheads and we're going to reduce part deliveries and partial loads. Our customers are never going to run out of our products. We're going to automate their ordering. Don't worry, you don't have to send us a PO. We'll just deliver and we'll invoice you. So how did we do it? Guess what? Sensor. Takes a variety of sensor knowledge to get the right sensor. Could be a really simple product, could be a complex chemical. You need the right sensor. We've got a gateway. This is a 4G device. Works in 350 networks in 180 countries as standard. Transmits using the cloud. We've got a clear web portal for level alarms and alerts. Lovely. And then we integrate data into the customer's ERP system, so it automates the entire process. Sensor, gateway, platform, data integration. Really simple recipe. So the results. Runouts, gone. Eliminated. The customer never ran out of product the following year. The reduction in our deliveries, we reduced our deliveries over 50% dramatically, and we were optimized around the 20% mark, 30% reorder level. The big news is that the customer delivered the same amount of product for 30% fewer miles. Imagine working 30% less hard. Does anyone want to work 30% less hard and do the same amount of work? I definitely do. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely do. And it's Green Chem. We've got about 8,000 devices with them internationally. So take a project, scale it up. Please come and talk to us about these use cases. We're on stand K70 over there. But how did we overcome some barriers? We made a standard telemetry gateway with simple configuration. We got the ERP integration correct. We talked to the customer. We deployed it into their enterprise. We have a multi-year contract. We have fixed orders. We've got an operational model with them where their total cost of ownership is known for many years. Who can say that in 2026? If anyone's been to the petrol pump recently, you'll see your fuel price go through the roof. Does anyone ever dipped a tank manually? I have. It's absolutely rubbish. Imagine doing it on the 23rd of December. No more manual tank runs. Drink tea in your office and stay warm and read your tank automatically. So, 2 real use cases, pilot to success. Why? Reasons and barriers. Doesn't matter about the technology, it exists in 2026. You can do anything you want to do. Thank you very much.